There are times in life when everything feels dark and heavy. When challenges seem too big and the road ahead is unclear, it's easy to feel stuck or lost. But what if facing that darkness head-on could actually help you find strength you didn't know you had? This book is about that moment, the moment when you stop running from your struggles and instead meet them with honesty and courage. It's about learning to listen to the hard truths inside you and using them to grow stronger every day. This isn't about quick fixes or empty promises. It's about real steps you can take every single day to improve your life, build resilience, and create habits that last. You will discover how to face your pain honestly, build small habits that matter, and speak your truth even when it's hard. You'll learn how to take responsibility for your choices, let go of what holds you back, and set clear goals that guide your way. This book shows you how to challenge negative thoughts with facts, forgive yourself for past mistakes, and choose growth even when it's uncomfortable. Every chapter offers practical advice that you can start using right now. These are the kinds of lessons that help you move forward when everything feels heavy. You will find encouragement to keep showing up, to ask for help when you need it, and to surround yourself with people who lift you up. It's about learning from failure and never fearing a fresh start. Most importantly, this book is a guide to discovering your inner strength and using it to create a better, more fulfilling life. If you've ever felt overwhelmed, stuck, or unsure how to keep going, this book is for you. It's a conversation, a guide, and a reminder that you have what it takes to face the darkness and to come out stronger on the other side. Stick with it, and you will find practical tools, motivation, and wisdom to help you improve every day and build the life you want. Chapter 1. Face your pain with full honesty every day. You wake up and it's still dark, not outside, but inside you. That familiar heaviness is there, quietly pressing down on your chest. The kind of feeling that doesn't scream, but wait. It's tempting to move past it, to get on with the day, to distract yourself with noise, work, scrolling, or even smiling. But deep down you know it's still there, and the longer you ignore it, the louder it becomes, until one day it starts speaking for you. It makes decisions for you. It shapes how you see the world, how you treat others, and how you treat yourself. That's what unacknowledged pain does. It doesn't go away, it just settles deeper into your life. Facing your pain with full honesty is not an act of weakness. It is not self-pity. It's one of the most courageous things you will ever do. To face what hurts, to sit with it without trying to fix it instantly, to look at it without numbing it, that is where your strength begins. Real strength is not the ability to act like nothing affects you. Real strength is built when you stop lying to yourself and start telling yourself the truth, no matter how uncomfortable that truth is. Most people spend years running from their pain. They call it being busy. They call it staying strong. They call it keeping a positive mindset. But the pain still lives beneath all that. You don't become free by ignoring it. You become free when you turn toward it and say, I see you, I feel you, and I'm not going to run anymore. The truth is, we all carry something, a past experience we haven't dealt with, a mistake we still punish ourselves for, a rejection we never healed from, a fear we don't speak about. And the problem isn't that we have pain. The problem is when we refuse to deal with it, when we pretend we're okay, when we bury it so deep that it starts shaping every choice we make, quietly, silently, invisibly. You don't notice it at first, but one day you wake up and realize you've been living your life as a response to what you're afraid to feel. That's why facing your pain matters. It's not about revisiting the past for the sake of dwelling on it. It's about taking back the parts of yourself you've handed over to avoidance. Pain is not the enemy. Avoidance is, numbing is, denial is. They rob you of your energy, your clarity, and your potential. So how do you face your pain? You start by stopping. You stop distracting yourself for just a moment. Sit in silence. Breathe. Ask yourself, what am I feeling right now that I've been trying not to feel? What truth have I been avoiding? What's hurting me that I haven't given a name to yet? And you don't rush for the answer. You wait. You listen. Sometimes it shows up as a thought. Sometimes as a memory. Sometimes as tension in your body. You might feel sadness, anger, fear, guilt. Don't push it away. Let it speak. Emotions are not here to control you. They're here to inform you. They're messengers. If you keep ignoring them, they only get louder. If you listen to them, they begin to soften. Then you acknowledge it. Whatever it is, shame, regret, grief, loneliness, acknowledge it. Say to yourself, this is real. This is what I'm feeling. And that's okay. Not everything needs to be solved in the moment. Some things just need to be seen. Some pain just needs your presence, not your judgment, not your solutions, just your honesty. Write it down. Get it out of your head and onto paper. Describe what you're feeling. Describe what it reminds you of. Describe how long you've been carrying it. You don't need to be poetic or deep. Just be real. There's power in putting words to pain. It becomes less chaotic, less overwhelming, more understandable. Writing is not just a creative tool. It's a healing one. It's a mirror that helps you see your own reflection clearly. Talk to someone if you need to. Pain that's shared becomes lighter. You don't need to share it with everyone. Choose someone who listens without judging. Someone who doesn't rush to fix you. Someone who can hold space for your truth. Sometimes we need to hear ourselves say it out loud. Sometimes we just need to be reminded that we're not alone. Facing your pain also means accepting that healing is not always a straight line. There will be days when you feel progress. There will be days when it feels like nothing has changed. That's normal. You're unlearning years of emotional habits. You're undoing patterns of silence and suppression. Be patient with yourself. Self-compassion is not softness. It's strategy. People who learn to treat themselves with kindness build more resilience over time than those who shame themselves into change. And here's something no one tells you enough. You are allowed to feel what you feel, even if you can't explain it. Not every wound has a clear cause. Not every feeling comes with a backstory. Sometimes pain just shows up. That doesn't make it less valid. It doesn't mean you're broken. It just means you're human. The world teaches you to be strong, but it often teaches the wrong version of strength. It says being strong means not crying, not showing emotion, not needing help, but that's not strength. That's isolation. Real strength is being able to stand in front of your truth and say, this is me right now, and I'm not going to hide anymore. You become strong not by pretending the darkness doesn't exist, but by learning how to live with it without letting it define you. When you begin to face your pain every day, you start to reclaim your power. You begin to respond to life instead of reacting from your wounds. You stop being controlled by your past. You stop needing validation from others to feel okay. You build a foundation inside yourself that doesn't crumble when life gets hard. Because you've already done the hardest thing, you stopped running. Pain, when faced directly, becomes clarity. It becomes direction. It shows you where healing is needed. It shows you what matters. It shows you what you've outgrown. And if you stay consistent with this practice, if you keep showing up to your emotions every day with honesty, courage, and patience, you will start to notice something shift inside you. You'll notice that moments of quiet aren't as scary. That sadness doesn't feel like a failure. That anger can be moved through without hurting anyone. That forgiveness becomes possible. That self-respect starts growing, quietly and steadily. You will begin to trust yourself again, because now you're no longer hiding from what's real. You're facing it. And in facing it, you're healing it. Every day, choose to check in with yourself. Ask, how am I really doing today? What do I need to face that I've been avoiding? Even 5 minutes of honesty with yourself can shift your entire day. The point is not to fix everything at once. The point is to keep the door open, to keep the conversation with yourself honest and alive. That's how you build resilience. Not through perfect plans or instant breakthroughs, but through daily truth-telling, through the quiet discipline of not abandoning yourself. You don't need to have all the answers. You don't need to know exactly what to do next. All you need to do is keep showing up to the reality of how you feel and decide that you won't hide anymore. Over time, your pain will begin to shift. It will no longer feel like a monster in the dark. It will feel like something you've made peace with, something you've learned from, something you've survived, and that survival, your survival, will become the foundation for everything you build next. This chapter is not about getting rid of darkness. It's about having the courage to sit with it, listen to it, understand it, and eventually transform it. Because when you finally stop running, when you finally face what's been haunting you, something powerful happens. The darkness begins to speak back, not in fear, not in pain, but in clarity, in truth, in strength. And in that moment, you realize it was never your enemy. It was always your teacher. So start today. Sit with yourself. Face what hurts. Speak your truth, even if it trembles. Be honest. Be kind. Be patient. And keep going. Because the moment you choose honesty over avoidance, you begin the process of becoming whole. Chapter 2. Build small habits that make you stronger daily. Most people believe change happens in a single dramatic moment, but it doesn't. Real change is built one small decision at a time, repeated with quiet consistency until it becomes a part of who you are. If you wait for motivation to strike, for the perfect morning or the right emotion, you'll stay stuck in the same cycle for years. Progress doesn't ask for the perfect mood, it asks for effort. Just a little, repeated daily. Small habits are powerful because they are sustainable. They don't rely on energy or excitement. They don't burn out after a week. They grow silently, like water shaping stone. You may not notice the effects after one day, but after 30 days, 60 days, 1 year, your entire identity begins to shift. You become the kind of person who follows through, the kind of person who doesn't talk about changing, but actually lives it. You don't need to rebuild your entire life in one day. What you need is one decision today that makes you a little stronger, a little sharper, a little more centered than you were yesterday. This is where your power lives. In the ordinary choices that seem small but when practiced consistently, shape your character. You start by choosing one habit that aligns with the person you want to become, not 10. 1. Something that you can commit to daily without relying on willpower. Something that doesn't feel overwhelming. Maybe it's waking up at the same time every day. Maybe it's writing down 3 things you're grateful for. Maybe it's reading 10 pages of a book that challenges your thinking. Maybe it's doing a short workout or going for a walk to clear your mind. Keep it small. Keep it simple. The goal isn't to impress anyone. The goal is to prove to yourself that you can be consistent. Because the greatest transformation begins not with intensity, but with repetition. When you repeat small habits every day, they stop feeling like tasks. They become part of your identity. Habits are not just routines. They are votes for the type of person you want to be. When you practice a habit that builds your strength mentally, emotionally, or physically, you're not just completing a task. You're saying to yourself, "This is who I am now." And when your mind begins to believe that, your life starts to move in a new direction. There will be days when you don't feel like it, days when the habit feels pointless. That's part of the process. Don't confuse boredom with failure. Don't confuse slow progress with no progress. The truth is, most people give up not because they're incapable, but because they expected instant results. Lasting change is not measured in how fast you move, but in how long you keep showing up. Discipline is not about pushing yourself to the edge every day. It's about doing the small thing even when no one is watching. It's about repeating the task when it's not exciting anymore. It's about saying yes to growth when it would be easier to stay comfortable. Track your progress. Write it down. It doesn't have to be perfect or fancy, just a simple record of what you did. This keeps you grounded. It gives you visible proof that you're moving forward. It reminds you that effort counts, even if the outcome isn't immediate. Every small habit you practice becomes a brick in the foundation of your life. These bricks build the structure that supports you during hard times. When everything around you feels uncertain, your habits remain steady. When your motivation fades, your habits carry you. When your emotions shift, your actions stay clear. Start thinking long-term. You don't build strength in one day. You build it by choosing the right action over and over, until your mind trusts you again. Until your body responds with energy and clarity. Until your heart begins to feel steady and calm. Strength is not loud. It doesn't always look powerful. Sometimes it's as simple as showing up again and again without needing applause. If a habit isn't working for you, adjust it, but don't stop. The goal is progress, not perfection. Maybe you need to do it earlier in the day. Maybe you need a shorter version. Maybe you need to remove distractions before you begin. Adapt, but keep going. Habits are flexible. They bend to your lifestyle if your intention stays strong. Remind yourself why you started, not with grand ideas, but with real reasons. Maybe you're tired of feeling tired. Maybe you're tired of breaking promises to yourself. Maybe you want to be someone who can rely on their own word. Let that reason drive you. Let it be your anchor when the habit feels dull or difficult. Celebrate small wins, not with rewards, but with acknowledgement. Say to yourself, "I showed up today." That alone is progress. That alone is worthy of respect. Don't wait for someone else to notice. Your opinion of yourself matters more than external praise. Build self-respect by honoring your effort. Confidence grows when you keep the promises you make to yourself, especially when they're small. There is no perfect plan. There is only action. Start where you are. Use what you have. Do what you can today, and do it again tomorrow. If you miss a day, return the next. The habit is not broken unless you walk away from it. One missed step doesn't erase the path you've built. Remember that habits are personal. What strengthens one person might not work for another. Don't compare your routines to others. Focus on what helps you grow. Focus on what brings clarity, energy, and control to your day. This is not a competition. This is your life, your time, your journey. Eventually, your habits will become automatic. You won't need to think about them. You'll just do them. And when that happens, you'll notice something powerful. Life gets easier. When you remove the need to constantly decide, habits remove the guesswork. They create structure. They reduce mental clutter. They free up your energy for things that really matter. You don't have to change your entire life overnight. You just need to choose one small habit today that brings you closer to the person you want to be. Then do it again tomorrow. Keep it small. Keep it daily. Keep it yours. That's how strength is built. Not in noise, not in intensity, but in quiet repetition, guided by a deeper reason. Over time, the small habits you build today will shape how you think, how you feel, how you act. They will become the invisible structure that holds your life together. They will support you when things fall apart. They will remind you that no matter what life throws at you, you are capable of moving forward, step by step, day by day. And one day, you'll look back and realize you're not the same person anymore. Not because something massive changed all at once, but because you chose to stay consistent. You chose discipline over distraction. You chose growth over comfort. You chose yourself. That's how people change. That's how strength is built. That's how you take control of your life again. One habit, one day, repeated, without needing permission, without needing perfection, just with the decision to keep going. Chapter 3. Speak truth, even when your voice shakes inside. Telling the truth is one of the hardest things a person can do, not because truth is complex, but because it demands courage. It requires you to risk being misunderstood, rejected, or even judged. There's a tension that lives inside your chest when you know what you need to say, but feel afraid to say it. That tension is real. It doesn't mean you're weak. It means you care. You care about the consequences. You care about how people respond. You care about how much your words might cost you. But if you keep silencing yourself to avoid discomfort, you slowly lose the ability to trust your own voice. There's a moment before you speak when your entire body tightens. Your heart beats faster. Your mind races with thoughts about what could go wrong. That's the moment when most people go silent. But that's also the exact moment that can change your life if you learn to move through it. Speaking your truth isn't about volume or force. It's about clarity. It's about standing in your experience and refusing to abandon it, even if your voice trembles. People often think honesty is only about being right. It's not. It's about being real. There's strength in saying how you truly feel, especially when it's uncomfortable. There's strength in admitting what you believe, even if others disagree. There's strength in drawing boundaries, sharing pain, and expressing needs. None of that is easy. It will always feel risky. But the alternative is silence, and silence carries a different kind of pain. When you hide your truth to make others comfortable, you slowly disconnect from yourself. You start playing roles. You say yes when you mean no. You pretend everything is fine when it's not. You laugh when something hurts. You become a stranger to your own thoughts, and eventually, the weight of everything unspoken begins to affect your peace. You feel anxious without knowing why. You feel distant from others, even if you're surrounded by them. That is the cost of withholding your truth. Honesty is not just about telling others how you feel. It's about choosing to be whole. It's a declaration that you will no longer make yourself small just to be accepted. You don't need to be cruel. You don't need to be loud. But you do need to be honest, especially with the people closest to you. Because relationships built on silence will always feel hollow. Connection can only grow where truth is allowed. There's also truth that needs to be spoken to yourself. You can't expect your life to improve if you keep lying to yourself about what's wrong. If something hurts, name it. If something's not working, admit it. If you're tired, burned out, frustrated, or lost, don't cover it with fake positivity. Truth is the starting point for all change. You can't fix what you refuse to see. You can't grow past what you don't acknowledge. Practice speaking honestly in small moments. Say what you actually think in conversations instead of saying what's safe. Express your needs without apologizing for them. If you disagree, say so. If you feel hurt, express it. If you're proud of something, share it without shrinking. These aren't dramatic actions. They're everyday choices that train your mind to stop hiding. You'll never be fully ready to speak your truth. The fear will always be there. The fear of conflict, the fear of being judged, the fear of losing someone. But truth isn't about waiting for fear to disappear. It's about learning to speak anyway. Bravery isn't the absence of fear. It's action in the presence of it. When your voice shakes, when your hands sweat, when your stomach turns, and you still say what needs to be said, that's bravery, that's power. Sometimes the truth doesn't lead to the result you want. Sometimes people walk away. Sometimes they get defensive. But your job isn't to control their reaction. Your job is to be clear, grounded, and respectful in your delivery. How others respond is about them. Your peace comes from knowing you were honest, not perfect. And sometimes truth leads to connection. It opens doors that you thought were closed. It deepens relationships because honesty builds trust. People can sense when you're being real. They may not always agree with you, but they will respect your courage. And even if they don't, you will begin to respect yourself. That is the deepest reward of speaking your truth. Self-respect. It grows each time you stand for what's real, each time you value your voice enough to use it. You don't have to explain yourself to everyone. Not all truths need to be shared with everyone you know. But you do need to be honest in spaces where you're compromising your integrity to keep the peace. You do need to stop pretending when it's costing you your well-being. You owe it to yourself to live in alignment with what you believe. Not because it's easy, but because your freedom depends on it. Begin where it's hardest. The conversation you've been avoiding, the topic you've pushed aside, the words you've rehearsed in your head, but never said out loud. Choose one and speak it clearly. Not aggressively, not defensively, just truthfully. Use simple words. Use calm energy. Say what's real. That's how you train yourself to stop avoiding your own voice. You are not responsible for how others feel about your truth, but you are responsible for making sure your silence isn't protecting the wrong things. You don't protect peace by hiding reality. You protect peace by being honest, by communicating openly, and by honoring your values even when it's uncomfortable. There will be times when speaking the truth costs you relationships, but if a connection depends on your silence, it's not a real connection. It's a performance, and no amount of pretending can sustain peace. What brings long-term peace is alignment. What brings strength is alignment. What brings strength is integrity. You build both every time you choose honesty over comfort. Your truth matters even if it's inconvenient. Your truth matters even if it shakes the room. Your truth matters even if no one understands it, because it's yours. And the moment you begin to honor it, you stop needing permission to be yourself. Truth is not about winning arguments. It's not about being louder or more convincing. It's about standing on what you believe is right, without apology. It's about knowing that your voice matters, not because it's perfect, but because it's honest. You are allowed to speak. You are allowed to express. You are allowed to take up space without editing yourself to fit someone else's expectations. And most importantly, you are allowed to change. Your truth today may evolve as you grow. That's not weakness. That's growth. Allow yourself to be honest now, even if your perspective changes later. Because the version of you that hides to avoid mistakes is not the version that will help you grow. Start with honesty, even if your voice trembles, even if you stumble over your words, even if you feel unsure. Speak, not to prove something, not to win approval, but to reclaim your place in your own life. Because when you stop hiding, you start healing. When you speak your truth, you begin to live from a place of power, not fear. And in time, that voice inside you, once quiet, once afraid, will become steady. Not because the fear is gone, but because you've learned that truth matters more. And that's how your life changes. One honest word at a time. Chapter 4. Take responsibility for everything you can control. Your life begins to change the moment you decide to stop blaming and start owning. The truth is simple. Most things are not under your control, but your choices are, your responses are. Your thoughts, your behavior, your decisions, your focus, these are in your hands every single day. And if you want to move forward, if you want to build something meaningful, you have to stop waiting for things outside of you to change and start changing what's within your reach. That is where your real power is, not in what happens to you, but in how you handle it. Taking responsibility is not about guilt. It's not about blaming yourself for things that were never your fault. It's about recognizing that you have influence over how you show up in your own life. You can either live in reaction, pointing fingers, making excuses, or you can decide to take charge of what you can affect. The first keeps you stuck. The second sets you free. You are not responsible for how people treat you, but you are responsible for how long you allow it. You are not responsible for the family you were born into, but you are responsible for how you choose to live now. You are not responsible for the past, but you are responsible for the next move you make. Blame is easy. Ownership takes strength, but only ownership creates progress. When you shift your mindset from victim to leader in your own life, everything changes. Instead of saying, "Why is this happening to me?" you begin asking, "What can I do with this?" That question is powerful. It immediately brings you back into the present moment, where action is possible. It helps you focus on solutions instead of problems. It keeps your mind clear instead of cluttered with frustration and regret. Most people never realize how much power they give away by waiting for someone to apologize, waiting for the perfect conditions, waiting for motivation, waiting for support. While they wait, time passes, opportunities fade, confidence shrinks, and still nothing changes, because responsibility was never out there. It was always in their own hands. The most successful people you'll ever meet are not the ones who had the easiest path. They are the ones who stopped making excuses. They got tired of blaming. They got tired of staying small. They chose to face their lives head-on. They didn't wait for someone to save them. They saved themselves by doing the work, every day, even when it was hard, even when it felt unfair. You have to decide what kind of person you want to be when life is difficult. Do you shut down or step up? Do you point outward or look inward? Do you make a plan or stay stuck in the past? That decision shapes your future more than anything else. Life will challenge you. People will disappoint you. Plans will fall apart. That's guaranteed. But what you do next, that's yours. That's where your future is written. Responsibility is not about controlling everything. It's about mastering what you can. Your sleep, your mindset, your time, your priorities, your attitude, those are yours. And when you start taking ownership of them, you build confidence. Not because life suddenly gets easier, but because you start showing yourself that you can handle it, that you're capable, that you're not helpless. Every day, you make choices. Some are small, some feel invisible, but they add up. You choose whether to waste your time or use it well. You choose whether to take care of your body or neglect it. You choose whether to feed your mind or distract it. You choose whether to speak honestly or stay silent. These are not dramatic moments. They are daily decisions, but they shape your character and your future in ways you can't even measure. When you begin taking responsibility, you stop negotiating with yourself. You stop telling stories about why it's too late or too hard or too unfair. You start showing up, even when it's uncomfortable. You make your bed. You answer the hard emails. You finish what you start. You apologize when you're wrong. You take the next step, even if you're scared. These are the quiet choices that build discipline, and discipline builds self-respect. There's freedom in responsibility. It's not restrictive, it's liberating. Because once you stop blaming, you realize you don't have to wait for anyone else. You don't need permission. You don't need approval. You don't need perfect timing. You need action. And every time you choose action over avoidance, you take a step closer to the life you actually want. It won't always feel good. Sometimes it feels like carrying the weight of the world when no one else is helping. But responsibility isn't about ease, it's about growth. And growth comes through effort, through showing up when it's inconvenient, through following through when no one's watching, through doing the right thing, even when no one claps for you. Because you're not doing it for recognition, you're doing it because it's who you've chosen to be. Start small. Look at your day. Look at your habits. Look at how you spend your time. Ask yourself, where am I giving away control? Where am I blaming instead of acting? Where am I avoiding instead of confronting? Be honest. Then make one change, one small action that brings your focus back to what you can influence. Then build from there. Don't wait for the world to be fair. Don't wait for someone to fix it for you. Decide that you are responsible for your own healing, your own strength, your own progress. And when you take that kind of responsibility, you begin to develop a quiet, unshakable strength. You stop needing to prove anything to anyone. You just live it. Eventually, responsibility becomes your default. You stop reacting. You start responding. You stop hiding. You start leading. You stop complaining. You start creating. You realize that power doesn't come from controlling others or outcomes. It comes from controlling yourself. And once you have that, you become someone that even chaos cannot break. People who own their lives don't wait for perfect circumstances. They create better ones through consistent, focused effort. They don't blame their past. They learn from it. They don't wait for signs. They act with intention. They don't seek comfort. They seek progress. And they don't need applause. They're already proud of the way they carry themselves. Taking responsibility means showing up even when you're tired. It means staying calm when it would be easier to explode. It means being honest with yourself when denial feels more comfortable. It means building habits that support your goals, not your excuses. And most of all, it means never giving your power away to circumstances that can't be changed. This is how real transformation begins, not through waiting, but through working. Not through blaming, but through owning. you have everything you need to move forward. Not because it will be easy, but because it will be worth it. The discipline, the consistency, the accountability, they are the path. And every time you choose responsibility, you become stronger, clearer, and more capable of handling what comes next. No one else can live your life for you. No one else can make your choices, and no one else can build your future. That is your work. That is your gift. And when you embrace it fully, with courage and clarity, you stop living by accident and start living on purpose. Chapter 5. Write your thoughts to understand your inner world. Most people go through life carrying thoughts they've never slowed down enough to understand. Their minds are full of questions, fears, unfinished memories, and vague goals that never take shape because they've never been given space to breathe. When you don't stop to process what's going on inside, you can't expect clarity outside. Writing is one of the simplest, most powerful ways to bring order to your inner world. It forces you to slow down, face yourself, and see your mind on paper instead of letting it swirl endlessly in circles. You don't have to be a writer. You don't have to craft perfect sentences. You don't need to share it with anyone or turn it into something polished. You just need to be honest. That's the key. Honest writing helps you understand what you're really thinking, not what you tell people, not what you pretend to believe, but what's actually moving through your mind when no one's watching. When you write, you create a space where there's no pressure to perform. You just show up and tell the truth. That's where self-awareness begins. Many people say they feel stuck, confused, overwhelmed, but they never take the time to ask why. They react to life, but they don't investigate what's beneath the surface. The moment you put your thoughts into words, they become visible. You can hold them up, examine them, question them, challenge them. You can see which ones are helping you and which ones are keeping you small. This isn't something you can always do by thinking harder. Thinking alone often leads to overthinking. But writing clears the fog because it makes you pick one sentence at a time and move forward slowly. Writing your thoughts gives you a record of your growth. On the days you feel like you're not changing, you can go back and read your old entries. You'll see how your mindset has shifted, how your voice has strengthened, how your concerns have evolved. That kind of perspective is priceless. Without it, we forget how far we've come. We forget the hard seasons we survived. We forget how many times we rebuilt ourselves quietly without telling anyone. You don't need a special time or setup. Keep a notebook near your bed. Open a blank file on your phone. The point is to make it easy to start. Some days you'll write a few sentences. Other days you'll keep going for pages. What matters is that you show up, that you check in with yourself, that you listen. Most of us never truly listen to what we're carrying inside until it starts leaking out through stress, irritation, or burnout. But when you get into the habit of writing, you catch it earlier. You notice patterns. You identify where your energy is going. You stop letting things build up until they become overwhelming. When you put a fear into words, it loses some of its control over you. When you write down a question, you make space for an answer. When you describe your hopes, you begin defining your direction. These aren't big dramatic changes. They happen subtly, quietly. But they are real. Writing doesn't fix everything, but it helps you know what needs fixing. It doesn't remove pain, but it gives it a place to go. It doesn't erase confusion, but it creates structure where there was once chaos. Most of us don't need more advice. We need more self-connection. We scroll, we listen, we watch, we consume, but we rarely pause to ask, what do I actually think? That question can be uncomfortable because it removes the noise, but it's necessary. If you don't take time to understand your own thoughts, you'll spend your life running on borrowed beliefs and second-hand goals. You'll chase things that never truly mattered to you. And one day, you'll wonder why you feel empty even though you followed all the right steps. Writing helps you reconnect with your own voice. It helps you tune out what's expected and tune in to what's real for you. Sometimes that voice is quiet at first. That's okay. If you've been disconnected for a long time, it may take a while to hear clearly, but with practice, you'll notice it getting stronger. You'll start to recognize the difference between what you've been told and what you truly believe. That awareness is powerful. Because once you're clear on your own voice, you stop getting pulled in 1,000 directions. You stop living by default. You begin to live with intention. Writing is a way to sort through emotional clutter. It helps you ask better questions. Why am I feeling this way? What triggered this reaction? What am I avoiding? What do I want that I'm afraid to admit? These aren't always easy questions, but they open doors. They create space for healing. They lead you to the truth behind the discomfort. And that truth is always a better starting point than denial. You don't need a formula or structure. You don't need to follow journal prompts unless you want to. The goal isn't to write a masterpiece. It's to be real with yourself. To sit down and say, this is what's going on in my head right now. Sometimes it's messy, sometimes it's unclear. That's okay. The process of writing makes it clearer over time. You begin to notice which thoughts are repeated lies and which ones are quiet truths you've been ignoring. Even 5 minutes of writing can shift your mood. It can release tension you didn't know you were holding. It can stop you from saying something you'll regret. It can help you plan your day with more clarity. It can bring a sense of relief simply because you no longer feel alone with your thoughts. You've acknowledged them. You've given them space. That's often all they needed. Your mind will always be full of thoughts. Some helpful, some harmful. If you never slow down to filter them, they blend together and start driving your behavior without your awareness. Writing is your filter. It allows you to pause, observe, and decide which thoughts deserve your attention. You don't have to believe every thought you think. You don't have to obey every fear that comes up. Writing helps you create distance between your thoughts and your identity. You begin to see them as temporary visitors, not permanent truths. Over time, this habit becomes a quiet foundation. It helps you navigate decisions with more confidence. It helps you respond instead of react. It helps you stay grounded when emotions run high, and it gives you a safe space to process things that are too complex to explain out loud. Some parts of you can only be understood in solitude, and writing gives that space a voice. You will never fully understand yourself if you only interact with the surface. You have to be willing to go deeper, to explore what's under the noise. That's where writing helps. It pulls you away from distraction and into reflection. It teaches you to be present with your own mind, not to judge it, but to witness it, to learn from it, to find clarity in the middle of the mental noise. Don't wait for the perfect moment to start. Just start. Write when you're lost. Write when you're clear. Write when you're angry, tired, hopeful, or uncertain. Let it be messy. Let it be honest. Let it be yours, because your inner world matters, and the better you understand it, the better you'll be at living a life that feels aligned, not with what others expect, but with who you really are. Chapter 11. Forgive yourself for the mistakes you once made. Understanding that everyone makes mistakes is a critical first step. No one lives without error or failure. Mistakes are part of being human and part of the learning process. They offer opportunities to gain insight, develop resilience, and clarify what you value most. When you view mistakes through this lens, they lose some of their power to harm your self-worth. Holding on to mistakes from the past can weigh heavily on your spirit and cloud your present. It's common to carry regret, shame, or guilt long after an error has occurred. These feelings can trap you in cycles of self-judgment and prevent you from moving forward. Forgiving yourself is not about forgetting or excusing what happened. It is about accepting your humanity, learning from the experience, and freeing yourself to grow. This act of forgiveness is essential to personal healing and transformation. Next, cultivate compassion toward yourself. Imagine how you would speak to a close friend who made a similar mistake. Would you scold them endlessly or encourage them to learn and move forward? Extend that same kindness inward. Remind yourself that growth comes from imperfection and that you deserve grace. Self-forgiveness starts with honest acknowledgement. This means facing what happened without denial or distortion. It requires you to accept responsibility for your actions without harsh self-condemnation. Recognize what you did, how it affected you and others, and what led to your choices. This clarity helps you understand the situation fully and sets the foundation for genuine forgiveness. Letting go of guilt is crucial. Guilt can be a motivator for change when it is balanced and constructive, but when it becomes overwhelming or persistent, it turns into a barrier. Holding on to guilt often means punishing yourself without achieving true healing. Forgiving yourself means releasing this burden and allowing space for positive transformation. Make amends if possible and necessary. Sometimes forgiveness includes repairing harm caused to others or yourself. Taking practical steps to make things right can bring closure and reinforce your commitment to change. However, forgiveness does not depend solely on external actions. It is ultimately an internal process. Challenge any negative stories you tell yourself about the mistake. These might be thoughts like, "I'm a failure," or "I'll never be good enough." These narratives are often exaggerated and unfair. Replace them with balanced truths such as, "I made a mistake, but I am learning," or "My worth is not defined by one error." Practice mindfulness to stay present and avoid ruminating on past mistakes. Notice when your mind drifts into regret or self-blame and gently bring your focus back to the here and now. This helps prevent emotional spirals and supports emotional regulation. Surround yourself with supportive people who understand your desire to grow and forgive. Sharing your struggles and progress with trusted friends or mentors can lighten your emotional load and provide encouragement. Create rituals that support forgiveness. This might include writing a letter to yourself expressing compassion, meditating on self-kindness, or speaking affirmations aloud. These practices reinforce your intention to forgive and build a new relationship with yourself. Remember that forgiveness is a process, not a one-time event. It may take time and repeated effort to fully release negative feelings. Be patient with yourself during this journey. Some days will feel easier than others. Progress is often gradual. Focus on the lessons gained from your mistakes. Each error holds valuable insights that can guide your future decisions. When you shift your perspective from blame to learning, forgiveness becomes easier and more meaningful. Forgiveness frees you to live fully in the present. It releases emotional energy tied to past pain and allows you to invest in your growth and happiness. Carrying unforgiveness keeps you stuck, but forgiveness moves you forward. Recognize the difference between accountability and self-punishment. Forgiving yourself means holding yourself responsible in a healthy way, learning from mistakes and making better choices without sinking into self-hate or denial. Practice forgiving yourself daily. Mistakes from the past may resurface, but each time you choose forgiveness, you reinforce a healthier mindset. Over time, this becomes your default way of relating to yourself. Celebrate your courage in facing your mistakes honestly and choosing forgiveness. This is a powerful act of self-respect and strength. Acknowledging your imperfections and still valuing yourself builds resilience and self-trust. Understand that forgiving yourself does not mean you forget the impact of your actions. Instead, it means you accept the reality, learn and then free yourself from being defined by that past. You own your story without being limited by it. Know that forgiveness is a gift you give yourself. It is an essential step toward healing wounds and unlocking your potential. Choosing forgiveness allows your energy to focus on creating a better future rather than reliving past pain. Release the need for external validation to forgive yourself. Your worth and ability to grow come from within. Internal forgiveness empowers you to move beyond shame and cultivate peace. Use forgiveness as a foundation for setting new intentions. After forgiving yourself, clarify how you want to live differently going forward. Set goals that reflect your commitment to growth and integrity. Begin now by identifying one mistake you hold on to. Acknowledge it fully, offer yourself kindness, and commit to forgiveness. This simple decision initiates a profound change that can ripple through every area of your life. Every act of self-forgiveness strengthens your ability to handle future challenges with grace and resilience. It builds emotional maturity and teaches you to embrace your humanity with honesty and compassion. By forgiving yourself, you reclaim your power. You transform regret into wisdom and pain into motivation. This liberation from self-judgment opens the door to deeper self-love and authentic living. Let go of the burden of past mistakes. Allow forgiveness to renew your spirit and inspire your path forward. You deserve peace, growth, and the freedom that comes from accepting yourself completely. Chapter 12. Choose growth over comfort in every hard moment. Growth and comfort rarely coexist comfortably in the same space. When life presents difficult moments, the choice between staying in comfort or pushing toward growth often defines the course of your personal journey. Choosing growth means stepping beyond the familiar and embracing challenges that test your limits. It requires courage, determination, and a willingness to face discomfort head-on. Yet, it is in those moments of struggle that real transformation occurs. Choosing comfort may feel safer, but often leads to stagnation and missed opportunities for progress. Embracing growth over comfort means redefining how you view hardship. Instead of seeing difficulties as obstacles or punishments, begin to see them as invitations to learn and evolve. When you approach challenges as opportunities for development, you change your relationship with struggle. You become more resilient, adaptable, and open to change. Building resilience starts with accepting discomfort as a natural part of growth. Avoiding pain or difficulty might bring temporary relief, but doesn't solve underlying issues or promote improvement. The ability to sit with discomfort without resistance strengthens your mental and emotional muscles. This strength enables you to face future challenges with greater confidence. Every hard moment carries with it a decision. You can shrink back to what feels easy and predictable, or you can lean into discomfort and seek the lessons within. Growth asks you to stretch your mindset and behavior beyond current patterns. This can be unsettling because it challenges the habits and beliefs that have kept you comfortable even if they no longer serve you well. Recognizing this discomfort as a sign of growth rather than a threat helps shift your perspective. Developing a mindset that favors growth requires consistent practice. It's easy to fall back into comfort habits because they are familiar and require less effort. You can train yourself to choose growth by making small intentional decisions daily. For example, when you encounter discomfort, consciously choose one action that challenges your limits instead of avoiding them. When faced with a hard moment, pause to ask yourself what growth might lie beneath the surface. What can this situation teach you about your values, limits, or potential? What new skill or insight might you gain by engaging with this difficulty rather than retreating from it? Shifting your questions in this way moves you from a victim mindset to one of empowerment. Understanding that growth is often a slow and uneven process helps maintain motivation. Progress might not be immediate or obvious. Sometimes you take 2 steps forward and 1 step back. Patience is essential. Trusting the process means accepting that discomfort now is an investment in your future self. Practice self-compassion during hard moments. Choosing growth does not mean pushing yourself without care. Recognize your limits and honor your needs while still embracing challenge. Balancing firmness with kindness prevents burnout and builds sustainable strength. Surround yourself with examples of growth-minded people. Their stories and attitudes can inspire you to embrace discomfort. Being around those who value learning over ease creates an environment that supports your own growth choices. Community plays a powerful role in reinforcing your commitment to growth. Set clear intentions to choose growth when discomfort arises. Having this commitment written down or mentally affirmed prepares you to respond differently in tough situations. Intentions serve as reminders when your instincts push you toward comfort. They anchor your actions in your values. Use setbacks as feedback rather than failure. When growth feels difficult or progress stalls, view these moments as information. Analyze what adjustments you can make and continue moving forward. This mindset keeps you engaged and resilient. Challenge any beliefs that comfort equals safety. Often comfort zones feel safe because they are familiar, but they can hide fears and limitations. True safety comes from your ability to handle life's ups and downs, which grows as you choose growth over comfort repeatedly. Visualize the long-term benefits of growth. Imagine how your life will improve by consistently embracing challenges. Picture the skills you will develop, the confidence you will build, and the opportunities you will unlock. This vision provides motivation when the immediate discomfort tempts you to quit. Practice gratitude for the hard moments. When you push through discomfort and learn, express appreciation for the experience. Gratitude shifts your mindset toward positivity and reinforces your commitment to growth. Remember that comfort often comes with hidden costs. Staying in easy routines or avoiding challenges may protect you temporarily, but limits your potential. It can lead to regret and a sense of unfulfilled possibility. Choosing growth protects you from these silent losses. Celebrate every choice to prioritize growth. Even small acts of courage add up over time. Acknowledge your efforts and reward yourself in meaningful ways. This positive reinforcement encourages ongoing commitment. Keep learning about the nature of growth and discomfort. Reading, listening, or engaging with material that deepens your understanding can reinforce your mindset. Knowledge empowers action. Create rituals that prepare you to face discomfort. This could include meditation to build mental clarity, physical exercise to strengthen endurance, or journaling to process emotions. These practices support your ability to choose growth consistently. When you choose growth in one area of your life, it often spills over into others. The confidence gained from facing one hard moment strengthens your approach to future challenges. Growth becomes a habit that transforms your entire life. Make a plan for how you will respond to difficult situations. Anticipate moments when comfort will tempt you and decide ahead of time how to prioritize growth. This preparedness reduces the likelihood of reverting to old patterns. Let go of the need for immediate comfort or quick fixes. Growth is a marathon, not a sprint. Embrace the steady pace of transformation and trust that lasting change requires patience and persistence. Focus on the process rather than the outcome. Growth is about the journey and the skills you develop, not just the destination. Enjoy the process of stretching yourself and becoming stronger. Begin today by identifying one situation where you usually choose comfort. Commit to making a different choice, one that pushes you toward growth. Take that first step courageously and consistently. Choose to be present in discomfort rather than avoiding it. Mindfulness helps you observe difficult emotions and sensations without judgment. This awareness reduces fear and increases your ability to engage with challenges. Know that choosing growth over comfort is an act of self-love. It means valuing your potential more than temporary ease. This choice honors your desire to live fully and authentically. Embrace the power within you to decide how you respond to hardship. By choosing growth over comfort, you write a new story for yourself, one of courage, strength, and endless possibility. Growth requires action. It's not enough to want change. You must choose it repeatedly. This daily choice shapes your character and ultimately your destiny. Your willingness to choose growth even when your voice shakes or your heart races builds a stronger, more resilient self. Each time you lean into discomfort, you expand your capacity for success, happiness, and peace. Chapter 13. Create boundaries that protect your mental peace. Protecting your mental peace begins with the intentional creation of boundaries. Boundaries serve as invisible lines that separate what you allow into your life from what you do not. They are essential tools for maintaining balance, reducing stress, and preserving your emotional energy. Without boundaries, it's easy to become overwhelmed by external demands, negative influences, or internal pressures. Establishing clear limits empowers you to control your environment and interactions in ways that nurture your well-being. The first step in creating boundaries is understanding what threatens your mental peace. Pay attention to situations, people, or habits that drain your energy or provoke anxiety and frustration. These might be persistent demands from others, toxic relationships, overcommitment, or even unhelpful thoughts. Identifying these triggers gives you clarity on where boundaries are most needed. Learn to say no without guilt. Saying no is a powerful act of self-respect. It frees you from taking on more than you can handle and prevents resentment. Practice polite but firm refusals that honor your priorities. Remember that every no you give creates space for yes to what truly matters. Start by setting simple boundaries in small areas of your life. This could be limiting the time spent on social media, saying no to additional work tasks when you're at capacity, or choosing not to engage in conversations that cause distress. These small steps build confidence in asserting your needs. Boundaries are not about building walls to isolate yourself, but about defining space for self-care and respect. They communicate your needs and limits clearly to others and to yourself. When you establish boundaries, you send a message that your mental health matters and that you have the right to protect it. Be clear and consistent when communicating your boundaries. Ambiguity invites confusion and disregard. Use straightforward language to express what you need, why it's important, and the consequences of ignoring those limits. Clear communication helps others understand and respect your space. Recognize that some people will resist your boundaries. This resistance may come from discomfort, misunderstanding, or attempts to control. Stand firm in your decisions without feeling the need to justify excessively. Your boundaries are about your well-being, not others' approval. Protect your mental peace by limiting exposure to negativity. This can mean reducing time with pessimistic people, avoiding distressing news, or curating the content you consume. Surrounding yourself with positivity and constructive influences strengthens your mental resilience. Create physical spaces that support your boundaries. Your environment influences your mental state. Organize your living and working areas to minimize distractions and promote calm. This physical orderliness mirrors and reinforces your mental clarity. Be mindful of internal boundaries as well. These include limits on your self-talk, perfectionism, and unrealistic expectations. Challenge thoughts that push you beyond healthy limits and practice self-compassion. Mental peace requires kindness inward as much as boundaries outward. Develop routines that honor your boundaries. Set specific times for work and rest, social interaction and solitude, activity and reflection. These rhythms support balance and prevent burnout. Sticking to routines helps maintain your limits consistently. Seek support when needed. Setting and maintaining boundaries can be challenging, especially in complex relationships. Trusted friends, mentors, or professionals can provide guidance and encouragement. You don't have to do it alone. Practice assertiveness in enforcing boundaries. It's natural to feel discomfort when asserting limits, especially if you're not used to it. Remind yourself that protecting your mental peace is a priority. Repetition strengthens your ability to uphold boundaries confidently. Evaluate your boundaries regularly. As you grow and circumstances change, your needs will shift. Adjust your boundaries accordingly to remain aligned with your mental health goals. Flexibility within firmness allows you to adapt without losing control. Recognize that boundaries contribute to healthier relationships. When you respect your own limits, you teach others how to treat you. Clear boundaries reduce misunderstandings and build mutual respect. They create space for genuine connection without sacrificing your peace. Respect others' boundaries in return. Healthy relationships depend on reciprocal respect. Being aware of and honoring others' limits fosters trust and cooperation. This mutual respect supports your own boundary setting. Avoid over-explaining or apologizing for your boundaries. You don't owe lengthy justifications for prioritizing your mental peace. A simple explanation is sufficient, and silence can also be powerful. Confidence in your decisions encourages others to take them seriously. Celebrate your progress in protecting your mental space. Each boundary you establish is an act of self-care and empowerment. Recognize the positive impact on your well-being and relationships. Be prepared for emotions that arise when setting boundaries. Feelings of guilt, fear, or anxiety are common but temporary. Acknowledge these emotions without letting them derail your commitment. Over time, these feelings lessen as boundaries become a natural part of your life. Practice self-reflection to deepen your understanding of your boundary needs. Journaling or meditation can help you explore what truly supports your mental peace. This insight guides more effective boundary creation. Take practical steps today by choosing one area where your mental peace is compromised. Decide on a clear boundary you can set immediately. Communicate it firmly and kindly. This simple action initiates a powerful shift toward protecting your inner calm. Your mental peace is one of your greatest assets. Treat it with the care and respect it deserves by creating boundaries that honor your needs. This commitment to yourself opens the door to a life of greater clarity, balance, and fulfillment. Remember that boundaries are essential for sustainable growth and happiness. They create the foundation on which you can build resilience, focus, and emotional stability. Without boundaries, mental peace remains vulnerable. Chapter 14. Speak kindly to yourself in every situation. Treating yourself with kindness in every situation is one of the most powerful habits you can develop to foster inner strength and peace. How you speak to yourself shapes your emotions, decisions, and overall well-being. The voice inside your mind is constant and influential, often guiding your behavior without you even realizing it. Choosing to speak kindly means replacing harsh judgments with supportive words. This practice nurtures self-respect and resilience, especially during life's difficult moments. Self-kindness begins with awareness. Notice the tone and content of your internal dialogue. Many people carry critical voices that replay past mistakes or magnify fears. These harsh self-assessments do not motivate lasting change. They often lead to feelings of shame and discouragement. By becoming aware of this negative chatter, you gain the power to change it intentionally. Once you recognize self-critical thoughts, actively choose kinder language. Imagine talking to a good friend who is struggling. You would offer encouragement, understanding, and patience. Extend that same compassion to yourself. When you catch a self-critical thought, pause and rephrase it in a gentle, constructive way. Avoid all or nothing thinking in your self-talk. Phrases like "I always fail" or "I'm worthless" are extreme and rarely true. Replace them with balanced statements that acknowledge challenges without defining your entire worth. For example, "I made a mistake, but I am learning" is kinder and more realistic. Be patient with yourself when you falter. Kind self-talk acknowledges that growth is a process filled with ups and downs. Mistakes do not erase your value or progress. Remind yourself that perseverance, not perfection, is the key to success. Speak kindly to yourself by acknowledging your efforts, not just outcomes. Celebrate the steps you take, no matter how small. Recognizing progress builds motivation and reinforces positive habits. It shifts your focus from fear of failure to appreciation of growth. Be mindful of your body language and tone when you think or speak to yourself. Harsh self-criticism often comes with tense muscles and a harsh internal tone. Soften your posture and tone internally to match the kindness you want to cultivate. This alignment between mind and body deepens the impact of your self-talk. Use affirmations that reinforce kindness and confidence. Statements like "I am enough," "I deserve respect," or "I can handle this" help reprogram your mind toward positive beliefs. Repeat these affirmations daily, especially during challenging times, to strengthen your inner support system. Create rituals that reinforce kind self-talk. This could include journaling positive experiences, meditating on self-compassion, or speaking encouraging words aloud. Regular practice anchors these habits and makes them automatic over time. Practice forgiveness in your internal dialogue. When you notice regret or blame, consciously release those feelings. Forgiving yourself frees mental space and energy for constructive action. It opens the door to self-love and acceptance. Avoid comparisons with others that trigger negative self-talk. Everyone's journey is unique, and comparing yourself often leads to unfair judgments. Focus on your path and progress. Kindness toward yourself includes accepting where you are right now without judgment. Challenge cultural or societal messages that promote self-criticism. Many people internalize unrealistic standards or harsh expectations. Question these norms and choose self-kindness as a healthier alternative. When facing failure or criticism, respond with curiosity rather than harshness. Ask yourself what you can learn instead of condemning yourself. This mindset fosters growth and reduces emotional pain. Surround yourself with reminders of your worth. This might be inspiring quotes, supportive people, or personal achievements. These external supports reinforce your internal kindness and help silence self-doubt. Remember that speaking kindly to yourself improves your relationships with others. When you treat yourself with respect, you model healthy behavior and increase your capacity to give and receive kindness. Recognize moments when kindness feels difficult. Stress, fear, and fatigue often fuel harsh self-talk. In these moments, double down on compassion. Speak to yourself as a patient guide rather than a harsh critic. Balance kindness with honesty. Being kind does not mean ignoring areas for improvement. It means addressing challenges with empathy and encouragement rather than blame. Use breathing techniques or mindfulness to center yourself before practicing kind self-talk. Calming your mind and body creates a receptive state for positive change. Accept that self-kindness is a lifelong journey. You may encounter setbacks, but persistence builds strength. Each kind word you offer yourself reshapes your inner world for the better. Track your progress in speaking kindly to yourself. Notice shifts in mood, confidence, and behavior. Reflecting on improvements motivates continued practice. Speak kindly to yourself to reduce anxiety and depression. Kind self-talk counters the negative thought patterns that often fuel these conditions. It supports emotional regulation and mental clarity. Recognize the ripple effect of self-kindness. When you nurture yourself, you are better equipped to handle challenges, support others, and pursue your goals. Begin each day with an intention to speak kindly to yourself. This sets a positive tone and anchors your mindset through daily experiences. Commit now to speak kindly to yourself in every situation. This simple but profound habit changes how you experience life and relate to yourself. It is a vital step toward lasting self-improvement and inner peace. Transform your inner voice into an ally that encourages, supports, and uplifts. This voice becomes a source of strength that empowers you to face life's uncertainties with courage. By choosing kindness in your self-talk, you cultivate a deep sense of self-worth that no external circumstance can shake. This foundation supports lasting happiness and success. Taking one bold step toward your future every day transforms your life in ways that few other actions can. Boldness is not about reckless risk, but about purposeful movement beyond hesitation and fear. It means acting with courage and intention, even when uncertainty looms large. Each bold step, no matter how small, builds momentum that propels you forward. Over time, these daily acts of bravery accumulate into meaningful progress and change. Chapter 15. Take one bold step toward your future daily. Boldness requires breaking free from paralysis caused by doubt or perfectionism. It demands a commitment to action over waiting for perfect conditions. The future you want will never arrive without your active participation. Procrastination and hesitation keep you anchored in the present, while bold steps stretch your reach and expand your possibilities. Bold steps create clarity. Action often reveals information and opportunities that remain hidden in indecision. When you move forward, you learn what works, what doesn't, and where to adjust your path. This feedback is invaluable for refining your goals and strategies. Begin by identifying one action each day that challenges you. This does not have to be dramatic or overwhelming. It could be making a difficult phone call, sharing your true opinion, applying for a new opportunity, or learning a new skill. The key is that the step pushes you slightly beyond your comfort zone. Taking a bold step ignites confidence. Each time you face fear or uncertainty and act anyway, you prove to yourself that you are capable. This builds trust in your own abilities and reduces the power fear holds over you. Avoid waiting for motivation to strike perfectly. Motivation often follows action, not the other way around. The simple act of starting, no matter how small, generates energy that fuels further progress. Commitment to daily bold steps creates a self-sustaining cycle of growth. Visualize the impact of your bold steps. Imagine the future shaped by consistent, courageous choices. This vision provides motivation and keeps you focused during challenging moments. Holding a clear image of what you want anchors your daily efforts. Boldness requires embracing vulnerability. Showing up with honesty and courage exposes you to potential failure or rejection. This discomfort is natural and necessary. It teaches resilience and deepens your understanding of yourself. Break large goals into manageable actions. Sometimes the future feels distant or overwhelming, causing inertia. By dividing your objectives into small, bold steps, you make progress tangible and achievable. Each step becomes a building block toward your larger vision. Celebrate your boldness regularly. Recognize the courage it takes to act despite fear or uncertainty. This acknowledgement strengthens your willingness to continue stepping forward. Positive reinforcement encourages a lasting habit of boldness. Learn from setbacks without losing momentum. Not every bold step leads to immediate success. When obstacles arise, analyze what can be learned and adjust your approach. Persistence in boldness means rising after setbacks with renewed determination. Cultivate a mindset that values progress over perfection. Bold steps focus on movement, not flawless execution. Accept that mistakes are part of growth, and that taking imperfect action is better than inaction. Surround yourself with supportive people who encourage bold action. Their belief in your potential reinforces your own confidence. Sharing your goals and progress with others creates accountability and inspiration. Practice self-compassion when boldness feels difficult. Fear, doubt, or anxiety may challenge your resolve. Treat yourself kindly, acknowledge your efforts, and recommit to your path without harsh judgment. Use visualization techniques to prepare for bold actions. Picture yourself successfully taking the step, handling challenges, and feeling proud. Mental rehearsal builds confidence and reduces anxiety. Set daily intentions to take bold steps. Writing or mentally affirming your commitment prepares your mind for action. This ritual clarifies your priorities and strengthens your focus. Challenge limiting beliefs that hold you back. Replace thoughts like "I can't" or "it's too risky" with empowering statements that affirm your capacity and right to pursue growth. Recognize that bold steps inspire others. Your courage may encourage friends, family, or colleagues to face their own fears. This ripple effect creates positive change beyond your personal journey. Develop habits that support boldness. Regular exercise, meditation, or journaling can increase your mental and emotional resilience. These practices provide a foundation for courageous action. Avoid overthinking. Analysis paralysis often prevents bold action. Commit to deciding quickly and moving forward. Trust that clarity and learning come through doing. Maintain focus on your long-term vision during difficult times. When doubt or setbacks appear, remind yourself why you chose this path and what you hope to achieve. This perspective sustains motivation. Accept that discomfort is a sign of growth. Bold actions often feel uneasy because they stretch your limits. Embrace this discomfort as evidence that you are moving in the right direction. Seek opportunities daily to practice boldness. Life presents numerous moments for courageous choices. Train yourself to recognize and seize these opportunities consistently. Chapter 16. Reflect each night on what made you proud. Reflection is an active choice to pause and consider your experiences honestly. It involves looking back at your actions, decisions, and moments with a lens of appreciation rather than judgment. Pride often stems from acts of courage, kindness, discipline, or persistence. Identifying these moments highlights your capacity to overcome challenges and live in alignment with your goals. Taking time each night to reflect on what made you proud nurtures a mindset of gratitude, accomplishment, and motivation. It shifts your focus away from mistakes and worries toward acknowledging growth and effort. This practice builds emotional strength and reinforces positive habits. By reviewing your day with intention, you cultivate a deeper awareness of your progress and the values guiding your actions. Even small achievements deserve recognition. Sometimes, what makes us proud is not a grand success, but a simple act of integrity or resilience. Completing a difficult task, choosing patience, or standing up for yourself all merit attention. This focus on incremental wins creates a foundation for confidence. Writing down what made you proud enhances the impact of reflection. Putting your thoughts on paper solidifies the experience and allows you to revisit moments of strength later. Journaling creates a personal record of growth and can reveal patterns of behavior that support your improvement. Avoid letting reflection turn into self-criticism. The goal is to celebrate progress, not dwell on shortcomings. If negative thoughts arise, acknowledge them briefly and then redirect to positive aspects. This balanced approach fosters self-compassion and constructive insight. Set aside a consistent time each night for this practice. Establishing a routine signals your brain that reflection is important. This consistency makes it more likely that you will maintain the habit over the long term. During reflection, ask specific questions such as, what did I do today that aligns with my values? Or how did I handle a difficult situation with integrity? These prompts guide your attention to meaningful aspects of your day and deepen your self-awareness. Recognize that pride is closely linked to authenticity. When your actions reflect your true self and values, pride naturally follows. Reflecting on these moments strengthens your commitment to living authentically. Celebrate effort as much as outcome. Sometimes the process is more important than the result. Acknowledging hard work, even if the outcome is not perfect, reinforces perseverance and growth mindset. Sharing your reflections with a trusted person can amplify their effect. Discussing your proud moments builds connection and support. It also invites encouragement that further boosts your confidence. Over time, nightly reflection rewires your brain to focus on positive experiences. This shift improves mood, reduces stress, and increases overall satisfaction with life. It trains you to notice progress rather than just problems. Consider including gratitude in your nightly reflection. Gratitude for your efforts, support from others, or opportunities enriches the experience and expands your positive outlook. Use reflection to identify strengths you can build on. Recognizing your capabilities helps you leverage them in future challenges. This self-knowledge empowers better decision-making and action. Balance pride with humility. Acknowledge your achievements without comparing yourself to others or inflating your ego. Humble pride fosters a grounded confidence that supports continuous learning. Avoid rushing through your reflection. Take time to feel the pride fully. Experiencing these emotions strengthens their influence on your mindset. Be honest with yourself during reflection. Authenticity in recognizing both strengths and areas for improvement leads to meaningful growth. Avoid superficial praise that does not resonate deeply. Reflect on how your proud moments contribute to your long-term goals. Connecting daily actions to bigger aspirations reinforces purpose and motivation. This alignment guides your priorities and energy. Develop a personal mantra or affirmation inspired by your reflections. Repeat it daily to reinforce positive self-beliefs and intentions. Use reflection as a tool for setting intentions for the next day. Identifying what you want to continue or improve creates a forward-looking mindset grounded in awareness. If some days feel lacking in proud moments, look for subtle positives. Acts of self-care, moments of calm, or decisions to rest can also be sources of pride. Valuing these moments promotes balance and self-respect. Remember that pride grounded in effort and values is sustainable. It does not depend on external validation, but on your own assessment of living well. Avoid perfectionism in reflection. The aim is progress and kindness, not flawless performance. Allow your nightly reflections to inspire gratitude toward yourself. Appreciate the courage it takes to face life's challenges and continue growing. Recognize that pride builds a positive identity. When you consistently acknowledge what makes you proud, you reinforce a sense of self-worth that withstands external pressures. Turn reflection into a moment of self-connection. Use it to listen to your inner voice and honor your journey. Notice changes in your confidence and emotional resilience as you commit to nightly reflection. These benefits compound over time and influence many areas of life. Make reflection a sacred, non-negotiable part of your day. This discipline supports mental clarity and emotional balance. Reflecting on pride fuels motivation to keep pursuing your goals. It reminds you why your efforts matter and encourages persistence. By choosing to reflect each night on what made you proud, you cultivate a mindset that uplifts rather than criticizes. This habit anchors your daily life in purpose, gratitude, and growth. It transforms ordinary days into meaningful steps toward the person you want to become. Chapter 17. Discipline your focus toward what truly matters. Disciplining your focus toward what truly matters is the foundation for meaningful progress and lasting fulfillment. The ability to direct your attention intentionally separates those who achieve their goals from those who drift aimlessly through life. Focus is not simply about doing more, but about choosing carefully where to invest your energy. This choice requires discipline because distractions and competing demands constantly pull at your attention. The first step in disciplining focus is clarity about what truly matters. Without clear priorities, your attention scatters across trivial tasks and urgent but unimportant activities. Define your values and long-term goals as a compass. These guiding principles help you evaluate each opportunity or distraction by its alignment with your deeper purpose. Create an environment that supports focused work. This includes organizing your physical space to minimize clutter and distractions. Turn off unnecessary notifications, designate specific times for checking messages, and set boundaries with others about your availability. Your environment is a reflection of your priorities and influences your ability to concentrate. Use time management techniques to structure your day around high-priority tasks. Methods like time blocking allocate dedicated periods to focused work, reducing the chance of multitasking and scattered effort. Commit to working on one task at a time, fully immersing yourself until completion or a natural stopping point. Train yourself to recognize distractions and interruptions. These can be external, such as social media, emails, and noisy environments, or internal, like wandering thoughts and anxiety. Awareness of these pulls allows you to pause and decide consciously whether to engage or redirect your attention. Recognize the value of rest and recovery in sustaining disciplined focus. The brain cannot maintain high levels of concentration indefinitely. Schedule regular breaks to refresh your mind, allowing you to return to tasks with renewed clarity and energy. Practice mindfulness to strengthen your focus muscle. Mindfulness trains you to observe your thoughts without judgment and gently return your attention to the present moment. This skill improves concentration and reduces the tendency to become overwhelmed by distractions. Prioritize tasks using criteria such as impact, urgency, and alignment with your goals. Not everything deserves equal attention. Learn to say no or delegate low-value activities to free your focus for what truly moves you forward. Eliminate multitasking. While tempting, trying to do several things at once reduces the quality of your work and drains mental energy. Focus on completing one task fully before moving to the next to enhance productivity and satisfaction. Monitor your energy levels and work with them rather than against them. Identify times of day when your focus naturally peaks and reserve these for demanding or creative tasks. Use lower energy periods for routine or administrative work. Set clear, measurable objectives for your work sessions. Having specific outcomes to achieve keeps your mind oriented and motivated. Vague goals invite distraction, while precise targets create a roadmap for your attention. Use techniques like the Pomodoro method to balance intense focus periods with brief rest intervals. This approach leverages the brain's natural attention cycles and prevents burnout. Acknowledge and manage internal distractions, such as stress, worries, or negative thoughts. Addressing these through journaling, meditation, or problem-solving frees cognitive space for focused work. Build habits that reinforce disciplined focus. Consistency in routines, such as morning rituals or exercise, creates a stable foundation for mental clarity. Over time, these habits reduce decision fatigue and preserve your attention for essential tasks. Develop accountability mechanisms. Sharing your goals and progress with a trusted person encourages discipline and reduces procrastination. Knowing someone else is aware of your commitments adds motivation to stay focused. Recognize that focus is a skill that improves with practice. Don't be discouraged by lapses or distractions. Each time you bring your attention back to what matters, you strengthen your capacity for discipline. Use visualization to prepare for focused work. Picture yourself immersed in your task, overcoming distractions, and achieving your objectives. This mental rehearsal strengthens determination and readiness. Avoid the temptation to seek constant stimulation or novelty. Discipline requires patience and persistence in sustained effort, even when tasks feel routine or challenging. Track your focus patterns and productivity to identify what helps or hinders your discipline. Use this data to adjust your environment, schedule, or strategies for better results. Understand the impact of your focus on your emotional state. Concentrating on meaningful work increases satisfaction and reduces anxiety caused by scattered attention. Commit to daily practices that cultivate focus, such as reading, mindfulness exercises, or limiting screen time. These activities enhance cognitive control and reduce susceptibility to distraction. Protect your attention fiercely. View your focus as a precious resource that fuels your success and well-being. Guard it against unnecessary depletion. Recognize that disciplining focus toward what truly matters is an ongoing process. Life's demands and distractions evolve, requiring regular re-evaluation of your priorities and habits. Choose to live intentionally by directing your focus with discipline. This choice transforms your daily experience from reactive to proactive, allowing you to shape your future rather than drift. Discipline your focus to create a life aligned with your values and goals. This commitment to intentional attention opens the path to deeper fulfillment, productivity, and personal growth. Celebrate progress in your ability to maintain focus. Each success builds momentum and confidence, making discipline easier and more natural over time. Chapter 18. Surround yourself with people who uplift you. Surrounding yourself with people who uplift you creates a foundation of strength and encouragement essential for personal growth. The company you keep influences your mindset, habits, and overall outlook on life far more than many realize. Positive relationships fuel motivation, resilience, and confidence, while negative or toxic connections drain energy and stunt progress. Choosing to spend time with those who inspire and support you is a deliberate act that pays lifelong dividends. Begin by evaluating the relationships in your life honestly. Notice which people bring out your best qualities and which leave you feeling diminished or stuck. Honest assessment may be uncomfortable, but it is necessary for change. Letting go of toxic or unsupportive relationships frees space for healthier connections that nurture your growth. Choose people who have a positive mindset and embody qualities you wish to develop. Their attitudes and behaviors serve as examples you can learn from. Observing how they handle setbacks, approach challenges, and pursue goals offers practical lessons for your own journey. Surrounding yourself with uplifting individuals means spending time with those who communicate honestly and constructively. They provide feedback with kindness and clarity, rather than judgment or criticism. These interactions build your confidence and deepen your self-awareness. Seek relationships based on mutual respect, trust, and encouragement. Uplifting people celebrate your successes without jealousy and offer compassionate support during challenges. They hold you accountable to your goals while understanding your limits and needs. Create boundaries with people who drain your energy or undermine your confidence. Setting limits is an act of self-respect that protects your mental and emotional well-being. It allows you to preserve your strength for relationships that nourish you. Avoid relationships rooted in negativity, gossip, or drama. Such dynamics distract you from your path and create emotional turbulence. Prioritize connections that bring peace, inspiration, and growth over temporary excitement or validation. Uplifting relationships thrive on active listening and genuine interest. Engage with others by showing curiosity about their experiences and feelings. This openness fosters deeper bonds and mutual support. Build a support network that includes a variety of perspectives and strengths. Diverse connections enrich your understanding and provide balanced encouragement. Different people can offer unique insights, resources, and inspiration. Engage regularly with uplifting people through shared activities, conversations, or goals. Consistent interaction reinforces positive influence and deepens trust. It also creates accountability and motivation for ongoing growth. Be an uplifting presence for others. Positive relationships are reciprocal. By encouraging and supporting others, you strengthen your own mindset and build meaningful connections. Generosity of spirit attracts similar energy back into your life. Notice how uplifting relationships impact your self-talk. Positive interactions reduce internal criticism and increase self-compassion. This shift enhances emotional resilience and clarity. Recognize that uplifting people challenge you constructively. They do not simply agree with everything, but push you toward better versions of yourself with care and respect. Choose environments that foster uplifting relationships. Join groups, clubs, or communities aligned with your values and interests. Surrounding yourself with like-minded individuals facilitates connection and shared purpose. Celebrate the progress and successes of those around you. Sharing in others' achievements strengthens your connections and cultivates a positive atmosphere. Let go of relationships that consistently bring negativity or hinder your growth. Ending such connections may be difficult, but necessary for your well-being. Nurture existing uplifting relationships by expressing gratitude and appreciation. Small gestures of kindness and acknowledgement deepen bonds and encourage continued support. Practice vulnerability with trusted uplifting people. Sharing your struggles and aspirations builds intimacy and allows for genuine support. Seek mentors who can guide you with experience and wisdom. Their encouragement and advice provide valuable direction and motivation. Protect your mental space by limiting exposure to toxic influences, whether through social media, casual acquaintances, or certain environments. Curate your social inputs to support positivity and growth. Remember that quality matters more than quantity in relationships. A few deep, supportive connections are more valuable than many superficial ones. Set goals together with uplifting individuals. Shared objectives create teamwork and mutual motivation, enhancing progress for everyone involved. Notice the energy you bring to relationships. Cultivate a positive, open attitude that invites uplifting interactions. Your mindset influences the quality of your connections. Use uplifting relationships as a mirror to reflect your strengths and potential. They help you see qualities you might overlook or undervalue in yourself. Surrounding yourself with people who uplift you strengthens your capacity to face life's challenges with courage and hope. Their presence fuels your determination and joy. Invest time and energy in cultivating relationships that nurture your soul. These connections become anchors during storms and catalysts for growth. Choosing uplifting people is a proactive step toward creating a life of meaning, support, and success. It shapes your daily experience and long-term trajectory profoundly. Recognize that uplifting relationships enrich not only your life but also those of others. By fostering positive connections, you contribute to a wider culture of support and growth. Commit to building and maintaining uplifting relationships as a cornerstone of your self-improvement journey. This foundation enables sustained progress and deeper fulfillment. Chapter 19. Learn from failure and never fear starting again. Surround yourself intentionally with those who inspire, encourage, and elevate you. This decision empowers you to become your best self and live fully. Failure is not the opposite of success, but a vital part of the journey toward it. Learning from failure means shifting your perspective from seeing setbacks as permanent defeats to viewing them as valuable lessons that guide your future actions. This mindset turns obstacles into opportunities for growth and builds resilience, which is essential for long-term achievement. Failure teaches you what does not work, refines your approach, and strengthens your resolve. Fear of failure often stops people from starting or trying again. This fear comes from associating failure with shame, loss, or judgment. Overcoming this fear requires understanding that failure is a natural and necessary part of any worthwhile endeavor. It is a sign that you are pushing beyond your comfort zone and challenging yourself to grow. Recognize that every successful person has encountered failure repeatedly. What sets them apart is their willingness to start over with new knowledge and determination. Emulate this attitude by embracing failure as a teacher and never fearing the process of beginning again. When failure occurs, pause to analyze what happened honestly and objectively. Avoid blaming yourself or others. Instead, ask what you can learn and how to adjust your strategy moving forward. This reflection transforms failure into a stepping stone rather than a stumbling block. Set clear intentions for what you want to achieve and why. A strong sense of purpose provides motivation to overcome failure and start anew. Purpose acts as an anchor during challenging times and a compass for adjusting your path. Build emotional resilience by practicing self-compassion after failure. Treat yourself with kindness and patience, acknowledging that growth takes time and effort. This self-care supports a healthy response to disappointment and keeps you motivated. Create a habit of experimenting and taking calculated risks. This approach normalizes failure as part of exploration and innovation. When you expect setbacks as part of learning, their impact diminishes and your confidence to try again grows. Develop problem-solving skills to respond effectively to failure. Instead of focusing on what went wrong, focus on what actions you can take next. This proactive mindset shifts energy from frustration to constructive movement. Surround yourself with supportive people who encourage learning from failure. Their belief in your potential reinforces your courage to keep going. Sharing your experiences reduces feelings of isolation and provides fresh perspectives. View failure as feedback rather than final judgment. Feedback offers valuable information about your progress and helps you improve. Welcome this feedback with openness and curiosity. Practice reframing negative thoughts related to failure. Replace "I failed" with "I learned what doesn't work." This simple linguistic shift changes your emotional response and builds a positive mindset. Start small when beginning again after failure. Taking manageable steps reduces overwhelm and builds momentum. Each small success rebuilds confidence and lays a stronger foundation. Document your failures and lessons learned. Keeping a journal of setbacks and insights provides a resource to track your growth over time. Reviewing this record reminds you of how far you have come and what you have learned. Celebrate the courage it takes to begin again. Starting over requires strength and commitment. Recognizing this bravery reinforces your willingness to continue despite setbacks. Avoid comparing your journey to others. Everyone's path includes unique challenges and failures. Focus on your progress and growth rather than external standards or timelines. Use visualization to prepare mentally for restarting. Imagine yourself learning from failure, adjusting your approach, and moving forward successfully. Mental rehearsal enhances resilience and readiness. Create routines that support recovery and renewal after failure. Activities like meditation, exercise, or creative expression help process emotions and clear the mind for fresh focus. Acknowledge that failure tests your commitment and character. Facing failure with integrity strengthens your resilience and shapes your identity as a learner and doer. Remember that persistence is often the key differentiator between success and failure. Repeatedly starting again with new strategies increases your chances of eventual achievement. Develop a growth mindset that views abilities and intelligence as developable through effort and learning. This mindset encourages embracing challenges and persisting through failures. Practice gratitude for the insights and opportunities failure provides. This attitude transforms setbacks into blessings that contribute to your journey. Set flexible goals that allow for adjustment based on lessons learned. Flexibility prevents discouragement when the original plan does not work and keeps you moving forward. Use failure as a catalyst for innovation. Challenges often inspire creative solutions and new directions that lead to breakthroughs. Recognize that fear of failure often stems from a desire for control and certainty. Accepting uncertainty and imperfection frees you to take risks and start again confidently. Seek mentorship or guidance when facing repeated failures. Experienced perspectives can offer strategies and encouragement that accelerate learning and progress. Develop patience with your process. Significant growth rarely happens overnight. Consistent effort and willingness to start over build lasting success. Avoid internalizing failure as a reflection of your worth. Your value remains intact regardless of outcomes. This separation supports a healthy response to setbacks. View each new beginning as a chance to apply wisdom gained from previous attempts. This perspective honors your journey and empowers you to move forward with strength. Recognize that failure teaches humility and empathy. These qualities deepen your understanding of yourself and others and enhance your leadership and relationships. Turn fear of failure into curiosity about what you can discover and create. Curiosity fuels experimentation and opens new possibilities. Practice self-reflection regularly to maintain awareness of your progress and mindset. Reflection helps you stay aligned with your goals and ready to adapt. Chapter 6. Break your silence and ask for real help. One of the hardest things to do when you're struggling is to speak up. Not because you're weak, but because you've convinced yourself that silence is strength. You've learned to hide pain behind a smile, to carry burdens alone, and to pretend you're fine even when you're breaking. You've told yourself that asking for help means failure. You've decided that if you just keep going, it will pass. And maybe you've gone so long without reaching out that it now feels unnatural. But there comes a point when your silence becomes your prison, and no matter how capable you are, you cannot heal in isolation. You don't have to face everything alone. Strength isn't about enduring in silence. Real strength is knowing when you've reached your limit and having the courage to let someone see behind the mask. It's about realizing that independence doesn't mean shutting people out. It means knowing who to let in and when. There's nothing noble about pretending you're okay when you're not. The world doesn't reward you for suffering quietly, and no one wins when you carry invisible wounds that never get treated. Help exists, but it often waits behind the door of your own willingness to speak. The support you need doesn't always show up uninvited. Sometimes it only comes when you ask, and asking doesn't make you a burden. It makes you human. Everyone, no matter how strong or smart, needs help at some point. Denying that need doesn't make you tough. It makes your pain last longer than it needs to. The longer you stay silent, the more distorted your inner world becomes. You begin to think you're the only one going through this, that no one would understand, that your struggle is too complicated to explain. But the truth is, you're not alone. There are people who've been where you are, people who would be willing to support you if only they knew. But they can't read your mind. They can't break through your silence unless you open the door. It's not about sharing everything with everyone. It's about finding one safe place where you can be real, one voice that won't judge, one moment where you stop pretending and start telling the truth. That kind of honesty can be terrifying at first, but it's also the moment where healing begins. Because when you speak, you release what you've been holding, You stop fighting the battle alone, and you allow the possibility of connection, understanding, and relief. Maybe you've been the one who always listens, always supports, always shows up for others, and now you don't know how to reverse that role. Maybe you've convinced yourself that you should be able to handle this on your own, that needing help is a sign you failed at self-reliance. But the truth is, no one is meant to be strong all the time. Even those who seem put together have their breaking points. Admitting you need support doesn't undo everything you built. It simply gives you space to breathe. There's a difference between venting and truly asking for help. Venting releases pressure, but real help moves you forward. It might mean seeing a therapist, having an honest conversation with someone you trust, or admitting that you've reached your limit and need something to change. That kind of help is not always comfortable. It requires vulnerability. It asks you to stop performing and start revealing. But it also creates breakthroughs. It brings new ideas, fresh perspectives, and the kind of support that can shift your path. It's easy to assume no one cares, that you'll be dismissed, misunderstood, or judged. But that belief is often shaped by fear, not fact. Not everyone will understand, not everyone will know what to say, but someone will. And finding that person starts with giving your pain a voice. Silence keeps you stuck in your own mind. Speaking allows you to step outside it and look at your situation with more clarity. When you reach out, you give others the opportunity to be there for you. And often, the people who care don't know how to help until you tell them. They can't fix what they don't know exists, and they're not disappointed in you for struggling. They're just waiting for you to trust them enough to let them in. That kind of connection doesn't weaken you. It reinforces you. It reminds you that you're not facing the world alone, and you don't have to pretend to be invincible to be valued. You might feel ashamed of what you're dealing with. You might think it's too messy, too dark, too heavy. But shame grows in silence. It feeds on secrecy. The more you hide, the more it convinces you that something is wrong with you. Speaking disrupts that cycle. It doesn't mean your situation disappears overnight, but it means you're no longer feeding it with isolation. You're no longer giving it the power of your silence. It's okay if the words don't come out perfectly. It's okay if you're not sure where to start. What matters is that you start, that you say something, that you let someone see the truth behind the performance. You deserve support, not just when things fall apart, but when you start to feel like you're slipping. You don't have to wait for a breakdown to reach out. You can speak now. You can ask before it gets worse. Too many people wait until it's too late, until they're exhausted, bitter, or numb, until they've lost the energy to even care. But you don't have to go that far. You can choose to speak while there's still time to shift things. You can choose connection over quiet suffering. You can choose to believe that your pain matters and that you don't have to face it alone. This isn't about weakness. It's about awareness. It's about recognizing that even the strongest need a hand sometimes. It's about letting go of the belief that you earn respect by suffering in silence. You don't need to prove your strength by enduring more than you should. Real strength is being brave enough to be seen in your struggle and wise enough to accept the help that moves you forward. There is no shame in saying, "I can't do this by myself anymore." There is freedom in it. There is dignity in choosing your well-being over your image. There is power in deciding to stop pretending and start healing. You don't have to carry it all. You never did. The people who truly care about you don't expect perfection. They just want you to be okay. So break the silence. Say what you need to say. Reach out, even if your voice shakes, because on the other side of that moment, there is relief, there is support, there is someone who will say, "I'm here." And sometimes that's all it takes to begin again with a little more hope and a lot less weight on your shoulders. Chapter 7. Let go of what no longer serves you. Holding on to things that no longer serve you is like carrying a heavy load that slows you down without realizing it. This can be old grudges, limiting beliefs, toxic relationships, habits that drain your energy, or anything that takes space in your mind and heart without adding value. It's common to cling to these because they feel familiar or because we fear what life will be like without them. But growth depends on the ability to release what's holding you back. Letting go is not about giving up. It's about making room for what will help you thrive. Recognizing what no longer serves you requires honest self-reflection. You must take a step back and examine every part of your life. Your thoughts, emotions, relationships, routines, and commitments. Ask yourself, does this lift me up or weigh me down? Does this bring me peace or stir up tension? Does this align with the person I want to become? If the answer is no or even unsure, it's time to start thinking about letting go. It's a process, not a one-time event. It takes courage to look clearly at what drains you and decide it's okay to say goodbye. Letting go often triggers fear. Fear of change, fear of loneliness, fear of losing security or identity. These fears are normal. They don't mean you're weak. They mean you're human. But living trapped by fear is not living fully. When you release what no longer serves you, you create space for new possibilities. You allow yourself to grow beyond old limitations. You free your energy to focus on what truly matters. Sometimes the hardest things to let go of are thoughts and beliefs you've held for years. They become so ingrained that they shape your identity. I'm not good enough. I can't trust others. I don't deserve happiness. These thoughts feel like truths, but they are just stories you tell yourself. Writing them down and challenging their accuracy can help you see them for what they are, barriers you no longer need to carry. Letting go of these mental chains is essential for moving forward. Relationships are often where letting go is most painful. You may hold on to people who hurt you, who drain your energy, or who don't support your growth because of loyalty, guilt, or fear of being alone. But not all connections are meant to last forever. Some are lessons, some are seasons. When a relationship consistently harms your peace, it's healthy to distance yourself, even if it feels uncomfortable. Letting go doesn't always mean cutting off. Sometimes it means setting clear boundaries so you protect your well-being. Letting go also applies to habits and routines that no longer serve your goals. Maybe you spend time on activities that bring short-term comfort but long-term stagnation. Maybe you hold on to unhealthy patterns because change feels too difficult. Recognize that growth requires discomfort. Small, consistent changes in your daily actions can create momentum. Each time you replace a draining habit with a nourishing one, you get stronger. Attachment to the past is another obstacle. You might be holding on to old mistakes, regrets, or what-if scenarios. Carrying this weight doesn't change the past, but steals your present. Practice forgiving yourself and others. Accept that the past shaped you, but does not define your future. When you let go of regret, you open yourself to new opportunities that require your full attention. Grief and loss are natural reasons people find letting go hard. It's okay to feel pain and honor those feelings, but clinging to sorrow indefinitely can keep you stuck. Healing comes when you allow yourself to feel deeply, express your emotions honestly, and then gently release your grip. This doesn't mean forgetting or replacing what you lost. It means making peace with it and continuing your life in a way that honors both your past and your future. Letting go requires patience with yourself. It's not a linear path. Some days you will feel ready to release, and other days the grip will tighten. Notice the triggers that make you cling to old pain or patterns. Awareness helps you choose differently next time. Celebrate each small step you take toward freedom. Progress is progress, no matter how slow. Mindfulness practices can support the process. When you learn to observe your thoughts and emotions without judgment, you create space between your identity and your reactions. This space gives you the power to choose what you hold on to and what you release. Meditation, deep breathing, and journaling can be useful tools in cultivating this awareness. Surround yourself with people who encourage your growth. Letting go is easier when you have support. Share your intentions with trusted friends or mentors who will remind you why you're choosing this path. Sometimes hearing a compassionate voice helps when your own voice doubts. Letting go isn't about erasing your history or pretending difficult things never happened. It's about deciding what place those things hold in your life going forward. You have the right to protect your energy and to pursue what brings meaning and peace. Your growth depends on shedding what no longer fits your vision of yourself. It's natural to hesitate, but consider this. Holding on to what harms you is a choice. Choosing to let go is an act of self-respect and self-love. You honor yourself by refusing to carry burdens that keep you small. When you let go, you claim the power to shape your life on your terms. Practice releasing with kindness. Be gentle with yourself when old attachments resurface. Remind yourself that letting go is a process and that every effort you make brings you closer to freedom. Keep focusing on your values and goals. Align your choices with the life you want to build. Letting go is not weakness. It is a sign of maturity and strength. It shows that you understand your worth and refuse to settle for less than you deserve. It means you're ready to move forward with clarity, purpose, and peace. You don't have to do this all at once. Start with one thing that no longer serves you. Make a conscious decision to release it today. Then the next day, and the next. Over time, you will create a lighter, more focused, and more joyful life. You will notice your energy returning and your confidence growing. You will feel more connected to yourself and the possibility ahead. Remember that letting go creates space for what truly matters. It makes room for new relationships, new habits, new dreams, and new peace. When you stop clinging to what drains you, you open yourself to a life that feels expansive and alive. You deserve to live free from unnecessary weight. You deserve to let go and move forward. The moment you decide to release what no longer serves you, you take a powerful step toward becoming the person you are meant to be. Chapter 8. Set clear goals that give your life direction. Having a clear direction is essential to living a purposeful life. Without goals, life can feel like wandering aimlessly through a fog with no destination. Setting clear goals gives your days meaning and your efforts focus. When you know what you want, your decisions become easier and your energy is directed toward something that matters. Goals act as a compass that points you forward, guiding your actions and motivating you to keep moving even when things get tough. The first step in setting meaningful goals is to be honest with yourself about what you truly want. This requires deep reflection, not what others expect from you, not what looks good on paper, but what sparks something inside you, a sense of excitement or fulfillment. Sometimes goals are big and bold, other times they are simple and practical. What matters is that they resonate with your values and vision for your life. A goal without connection to your inner purpose will quickly lose its power. Clarity is key. Vague goals lead to vague results. Saying "I want to be healthier" is a start, but it doesn't provide direction. Instead, break it down. I will walk for 30 minutes, 5 days a week, or I will eat vegetables at every meal. Specific goals create clear paths and measurable progress. They also allow you to celebrate small wins, which builds momentum and confidence. It helps to write down your goals. The act of writing transforms vague ideas into concrete commitments. It's a promise to yourself that you are serious about change. Written goals also serve as reminders when motivation wanes. Put them somewhere visible, a journal, a board, or a phone note, so you can revisit and adjust them regularly. When setting goals, it's important to set both short-term and long-term targets. Short-term goals create stepping stones and keep you engaged. They break down larger ambitions into manageable pieces. Long-term goals give you a bigger vision to work toward. The combination keeps you balanced, grounded in the present while reaching toward the future. Expect challenges along the way. Goals are rarely achieved without effort and obstacles. The key is to stay flexible and resilient. If a goal feels overwhelming, break it into smaller steps. If progress slows, reassess your methods. Sometimes goals need adjustment as you grow and learn more about yourself. This is part of the process, not failure. Avoid setting goals based solely on others' opinions or societal pressures. This disconnect leads to frustration and disappointment. Your goals should reflect what makes you feel alive and purposeful. It's okay if your goals differ from those around you. Living someone else's script will never bring you true fulfillment. Accountability boosts your chances of success. Share your goals with trusted people who will encourage you and hold you responsible. You don't have to do it alone. Sometimes just knowing someone else cares about your progress can motivate you to keep going when self-doubt creeps in. Visualizing success is another powerful tool. Spend time imagining what it will feel like when you achieve your goals. What changes in your life? How do you carry yourself? Visualization prepares your mind for success and strengthens your commitment. It turns abstract ideas into tangible possibilities. Regularly reviewing your goals is essential. Life is dynamic, and your priorities will shift. Take time each week or month to reflect on what's working and what isn't. Celebrate the progress you've made. Adjust your goals if needed to stay aligned with your evolving self. This keeps your journey purposeful and flexible. Don't wait for perfect conditions to start. The best time to set and pursue goals is now. Waiting only delays your growth and wastes your potential. Begin with what you have and where you are. Small, consistent action builds habits that carry you closer to your vision each day. Remember that goals are not just about achievement. They are about becoming. The process of working towards something meaningful shapes your character, sharpens your focus, and expands your resilience. The journey teaches you more about yourself than the destination ever will. Focus on progress, not perfection. You will face setbacks and days when motivation is low. This is natural. What matters is returning to your path with commitment. Each step forward, no matter how small, adds up over time. Consistency beats intensity. Balance ambition with self-compassion. Setting high goals is valuable, but not at the expense of your well-being. Listen to your body and mind. Rest when needed. Adjust pace when overwhelmed. Goals should inspire, not drain you. Celebrate achievements fully, no matter the size. Every success is a sign of your growth and effort. Taking time to acknowledge progress fuels motivation and reminds you why you started. This positive reinforcement is a vital part of sustained improvement. Cultivate patience. Significant change takes time. The results you seek won't happen overnight. Trust the process. Keep moving with intention and dedication, even when the outcome feels distant. Surround yourself with environments that support your goals. This could mean spending time with people who share your vision, creating a physical space that encourages focus, or limiting distractions that pull you away from your priorities. Your environment influences your ability to follow through. Understand that setbacks are learning opportunities. When you encounter obstacles, analyze what went wrong without judgment. Use the insight to adjust your approach and strengthen your resolve. This mindset transforms failures into stepping stones. Clarify your why. Knowing the deeper reason behind your goals anchors you during tough moments. When motivation fades, reconnecting with your purpose reignites determination. Your why gives meaning to effort. Taking time for self-reflection throughout your journey deepens your understanding of what truly matters. Goals set without reflection risk becoming empty tasks. Regularly ask yourself if your goals still resonate or if new desires have emerged. Trust yourself to set goals that fit your unique path. Comparison steals joy and confidence. Your life is not a competition, but a personal journey. Honor your pace and progress. Ultimately, clear goals act as a roadmap through life's uncertainty. They give you control over your direction and empower you to make choices that align with your vision. Without goals, life drifts. With them, you navigate with purpose. Begin now by identifying one goal that feels urgent or exciting. Write it down clearly. Plan the first step. Commit to taking action today. This simple act sets in motion a powerful momentum toward a more focused, fulfilled, and intentional life. Your future is shaped by the goals you set and the actions you take. Clear goals provide the structure and motivation to build a life that reflects your true desires. They are your anchor, your guide, and your motivation all in one. Hold them firmly and move steadily toward the life you want to live. Chapter 9. Practice daily routines that support your growth. Daily routines shape the rhythm of your life more than any single decision you make. The habits you cultivate every morning and evening, the way you manage your time, and the small actions you repeat consistently create the foundation for growth and transformation. Growth is not an event. It is a process built from the steady commitment to nurturing yourself day by day. When you design routines that support your growth, you create a framework that keeps you moving forward, even when motivation fades. The first step to creating effective daily routines is understanding that consistency matters more than intensity. It's better to do a small positive action every day than to commit to big efforts that you can't sustain. Growth happens through repetition and steady effort. Daily routines give your brain the chance to practice new behaviors until they become second nature. Over time, these small changes accumulate into significant progress. Start by identifying the activities that contribute directly to your goals and well-being. These can be physical, mental, or emotional practices. Maybe it's exercising for 15 minutes, reading something inspiring, journaling your thoughts, or setting intentions for the day. Whatever supports your growth, prioritize making it part of your routine. Don't overcomplicate it. Simple routines are easier to maintain and less likely to be abandoned. Establishing a morning routine sets the tone for the entire day. How you begin influences your mindset, energy and focus. Try to include activities that prepare you mentally and physically. Hydrating, stretching, or breathing deeply can awaken your body. Spending a few minutes reviewing your goals or writing what you're grateful for can prepare your mind for clarity and positivity. Starting your day intentionally creates momentum and reduces the chance of getting distracted. Evening routines are equally important. They help you wind down, reflect, and prepare for restorative sleep. This is a time to review what you accomplished, identify lessons, and plan for tomorrow. Disconnecting from screens and calming your mind before bed improves sleep quality and supports emotional balance. When you end the day with care, you set yourself up for success the next day. Flexibility is essential. Life will throw unexpected challenges your way. Your routines need to adapt without losing their core purpose. If you miss a part of your routine, don't view it as failure. Instead, adjust and recommit. The goal is progress, not perfection. Allow your routines to evolve with your needs and circumstances. Use habit stacking to build new routines more easily. This means attaching a new habit to an existing one. For example, after brushing your teeth, you might spend 2 minutes stretching, or after your morning coffee, you write down your top priority for the day. Linking new behaviors to established ones makes them easier to remember and perform. Accountability increases the likelihood of sticking to routines. Share your plans with someone you trust, or join a group that supports similar goals. When others know your intentions, you're more motivated to follow through. Sometimes just knowing someone else cares about your progress is enough to keep you consistent. Tracking your routines helps maintain focus. Use a journal, app, or simple checklist to record your daily actions. Seeing your streaks and progress visually motivates you to keep going. It also highlights patterns, what days you struggle or thrive, allowing you to adjust your routines for better results. Avoid overwhelming yourself by trying to change too much at once. Introducing several new habits simultaneously can lead to burnout. Instead, focus on 1 or 2 key routines at a time. Master those before adding more. This approach reduces resistance and builds confidence through small wins. Create an environment that supports your routines. This means organizing your space to make positive actions easy. For instance, lay out your workout clothes the night before, or keep your journal and pen within reach. Reducing friction in your environment increases the chances that you'll follow your routines without overthinking. Routines help manage stress by providing structure and predictability. When life feels chaotic, your habits become anchors that keep you grounded. They remind you that no matter what happens, you have control over small but meaningful parts of your day. This sense of control boosts resilience and emotional stability. Be mindful of energy management within your routines. Schedule the most important or challenging tasks when your energy is highest. Reserve easier or relaxing activities for low-energy times. Aligning your routines with your natural rhythms makes them more sustainable and effective. Integrate moments of self-care into your daily habits. Growth is not just about productivity, but also about nurturing yourself. Simple acts like deep breathing, a short walk, or listening to music you love replenish your energy and improve focus. Treat self-care as non-negotiable, not a reward. Routines are not rigid rules, but tools for empowerment. If a particular routine stops serving you, change it without guilt. Growth requires experimentation. Be curious about what works best for you and be willing to let go of what doesn't. Celebrate your commitment to routines, no matter how small. Every day you follow through is a victory that strengthens your self-trust. Acknowledge your efforts regularly to fuel motivation and reinforce positive behavior. Remember that routines form the invisible architecture of success. They prepare you to face challenges with steadiness and clarity. While goals give you direction, routines create the path. Without routines, goals remain distant dreams. With them, you build a life that reflects your highest potential. Take the time today to evaluate your current daily habits. Identify one routine that supports your growth and one that holds you back. Make a plan to strengthen the helpful habit and replace or adjust the unhelpful one. This simple act initiates a ripple effect that leads to continuous improvement. Daily routines are your commitment to yourself. They show that you value your growth and well-being enough to prioritize them consistently. They create a container for your intentions and a pathway for your actions. When you practice routines that nurture your mind, body, and spirit, you lay the foundation for lasting transformation. Chapter 10. Challenge your negative thoughts with real facts. Negative thoughts have a way of sneaking into your mind and shaping your experience without permission. They arrive uninvited and start dictating how you see yourself, others, and the world. Often these thoughts feel true because they trigger strong emotions, but emotions alone don't prove reality. The key to breaking free from their grip is to challenge negative thoughts with real facts. This practice helps separate distorted beliefs from objective truth and empowers you to respond with clarity rather than fear or doubt. Every negative thought is essentially a story you tell yourself. These stories can be influenced by past experiences, fears, or insecurities. For example, when you think, "I always fail," it's not an absolute truth, but a generalization based on selected memories. The mind tends to focus on negative events more than positive ones, creating a biased narrative. Recognizing that these thoughts are stories, not facts, is the first step in challenging them. To challenge negative thoughts, start by identifying them clearly. Pay attention to the language your mind uses. Words like always, never, can't, or should often signal absolute thinking, which is rarely accurate. When you catch yourself thinking in extremes, pause and ask whether this thought is based on facts or assumptions. Next, gather evidence that either supports or contradicts the thought. If the thought is "I am not good enough," list real achievements or compliments you have received. Look at moments when you succeeded or overcame difficulties. Balance this with any evidence that might support the negative thought, but focus on being objective, not self-critical. Often the facts reveal a more balanced and nuanced picture. Another technique is to consider alternative explanations. Negative thoughts usually present one interpretation as the only truth. What if there is another way to see the situation? For example, if you think, "My friend didn't reply because they don't care about me," consider other possibilities like being busy or distracted. Expanding your perspective reduces the power of negativity. Ask yourself what advice you would give a friend in your situation. People often treat others with more compassion and logic than they do themselves. If a friend told you they were worthless or a failure, you would likely challenge that harsh judgment. Practice extending the same kindness and reason to your own thoughts. It's helpful to remember that thoughts are not facts. They are mental events that come and go. You don't have to believe every thought that passes through your mind. Learning to observe thoughts without immediately accepting them as truth creates distance. This distance gives you the freedom to choose which thoughts to act on and which to question. Keep a journal to track your negative thoughts and the facts that challenge them. Writing allows you to see patterns and measure progress over time. When a thought recurs, having a record of past evidence that disproves it can be a powerful tool to stop its influence. Practice reframing negative thoughts into constructive ones. Instead of "I can't handle this," try "This is difficult, but I can find ways to manage it." Reframing doesn't deny challenges, but shifts your mindset toward problem solving and resilience. Over time, this habit rewires your brain to focus on possibilities rather than limitations. Engage your rational mind actively when emotions are high. Negative thoughts are often strongest when you feel overwhelmed or stressed. Pause and breathe deeply before responding. Use logical questions to analyze the thought. Is this thought based on evidence? Am I jumping to conclusions? What would be a more balanced view? Surround yourself with facts that support positive thinking. This might mean reading books that build confidence, listening to uplifting stories, or spending time with people who reinforce your strength. The environment you create influences the thoughts that dominate your mind. Challenge cultural or social beliefs that feed negativity. Sometimes negative thoughts reflect societal pressures or unrealistic standards rather than personal truth. Question whether the standards you hold yourself to are fair and reasonable. Align your thinking with values that support your well-being rather than external expectations. Seek professional support if negative thoughts become overwhelming or persistent. Therapists and counselors can provide tools and perspectives to help you break cycles of negativity. Asking for help is a sign of strength and commitment to your mental health. Regularly practice gratitude to balance negative thoughts. When you focus on what is going well and what you appreciate, negative thinking loses its grip. Gratitude shifts your attention from scarcity to abundance and builds a foundation for optimism. Challenge the urge to catastrophize. Negative thoughts often imagine the worst-case scenario. Reality is usually less extreme. Ask yourself what the actual likelihood of the worst outcome is, and what you can do if it happens. Preparing realistically reduces anxiety and increases control. Remember that everyone experiences negative thoughts. They are a normal part of the human mind, not a personal flaw. What matters is how you respond. Choosing to challenge and replace negativity with facts is an act of courage and self-respect. Developing this skill takes time and practice. Be patient and persistent. Each time you successfully challenge a negative thought, you strengthen your mental resilience. Gradually, your default thinking becomes more balanced and supportive. Your mind is a powerful tool. When you train it to seek truth over distortion, you reclaim control over your emotions and actions. You build a mindset that supports growth, peace, and success. Start today by noticing one negative thought and questioning it. Gather facts, consider alternatives, and reframe it with a realistic perspective. This simple exercise plants the seeds for lasting change. The process of challenging negative thoughts is not about ignoring difficulties, but about seeing them clearly and responding wisely. It frees you from the tyranny of unfounded fears and self-doubt. It opens the door to self-compassion and constructive action. By consistently applying facts to your thinking, you create a mental environment where growth flourishes. You empower yourself to face challenges with confidence and clarity. You turn your mind into an ally rather than an enemy. The choice is yours. You can accept negative thoughts as truths and remain trapped in cycles of doubt and fear, or you can question, challenge, and change your thinking to build a stronger, more resilient you. Every thought you challenge is a step toward freedom. Every fact you embrace is a brick in the foundation of your new mindset. Keep building with intention and commitment, and watch your life transform.